We already recorded our review for this movie. We're talking about this after I finished editing our review for the third Star Wars movie, but I noticed like my mic wasn't working, so we're gonna have to re-review the second movie,
Fuck.
and we're gonna kind of structure it similarly to the third movie. So we're gonna like just go through the plot kind of in order, starting with Queen Amidala. Her decoy gets assassinated.
Really shitty explosion. She dies.
Yeah, that explosion was really funny. It looked incredibly bad. So now there's like all this concern that there's a plot to murder Padme. They assign Anakin to basically be like her bodyguard.
Yeah, so before they do that, Anakin, Obi-Wan, they want her to like get out of there, and she was kind of like stubborn to that idea. So they kind of like stayed overnight, you know?
And that's when those
And then that's
stupid like
when
worms come in through her window.
yeah, it like cut a little hole in the window and shot worms at it. You know, it usually could just like fucking blew her up. I don't know.
And then Anakin chases him down, and it leads to this really stupid chase sequence that reminded me of like the pod racing scene where it goes on for too long.
It is long, isn't it? I didn't even really think about it. It is a long scene. The only thing I remember from it, really, like every time I think about it, is the sounds the vehicles made and like just seeing all the flying cars. It looked like some Back to the Future shit.
That's what I also wanted to say. Like, this movie, Coruscant, looks really bad in my opinion. They try to make it look too much like New York.
That's a good point you bring up. It does kind of just look like some shit you'd see in a fucking old ass video game.
So then they find out that this assassin girl is a changeling. She's actually some like gross monster.
She just gets killed by Jango Fett. He probably could have shot like Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Obi-Wan gets a hold of his dart, and that's leads to this whole plot of trying to track down this bounty hunter. Anakin is assigned to protect Padme, and Obi-Wan is assigned to find the bounty hunter. Obi-Wan's whole arc for me is the enjoyable stuff, and then Anakin's
Oh
arc
yeah,
is the stuff
easily.
that makes me want to rip my eyes out. Let's talk about the shitty arc first, Anakin's stuff.
All right, let's talk about Anakin. Anakin and Padme. I think it was actually like when this movie was like advertised, that was like the big thing they advertised. And it's just filled with terrible dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue is some of like the worst written, cringy stuff. Creepy too.
Not attractive at all. If it was realistic, Padme would have got a restraining order.
I kind of wish, I think I've already said this, I wish they had like a brother sister relationship instead. I think that would have worked better maybe.
Yeah.
But of
And
course,
no,
normal Star Wars fans, I guess, or at least what George Lucas thinks, don't want to see that. They want to see romance.
it just comes off as really forced and awkward and bad.
And that's all of Anakin's arc. Like nothing, every time the screen is focusing on Anakin and Padme, like nothing is happening.
Supposed to be another way that like sets Anakin down the dark side. Because apparently love is forbidden as a Jedi to be attached to someone. So then they find him someone to be attached to, someone he falls in love with. That's the whole point of it. So they just force something together and it just sucks.
Yeah, they could have done a better job with that. And I mentioned in the our review of Revenge of the Sith that I think this movie should have maybe focused on the friendship between this Palpatine and Anakin instead.
Yeah, that would have been because it would have made more sense than going into the next movie.
It would have cut out less of the shitty like romance and added more like context for this supposed friendship that they have. And that's okay, so that's like Anakin's whole arc, right? And that's the part that I hate and I think everyone hates about this movie. It lasts like the first hour.
Hmm. Everything about it sucks. The sand shit too sucks.
Oh, that's right. Wait, should we talk about that now?
I think he's talking about his planet. He's like, I hate sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not like here. Here everything is soft.
Oh no, not I'm talking about the his mother.
Oh shit. You were talking about his mother? That's a little later on.
So like the final part of Anakin's story happens a little later. Him and I almost said Leia, Padme go to Tatooine, his home planet, and he's searching for his mother finally, which is what I suggested they should
Yeah.
do. Like, why
He was
doesn't he do that earlier?
he was like hearing things overnight, like hearing his mother like suffering or some shit.
Oh,
So he like, do you remember that?
I didn't until just now.
They went to go talk to the fucking blue dude with the dick nose with wings in the fucking 5 o'clock shadow to be like, hey man, how's my mom? And he sold her.
They go to find his mother at the family that Watto sold her to. So Anakin finds out, like, yeah, she got taken by Tusken Raiders. She's been gone for like a month. They just assume she's dead. He goes and finds her. I guess he knows exactly where she is. Probably the Force or something.
In Jedi Instant, he was talking to those Jawas, is that what it was called? The guys with like the hoods and the yellow
that's
eyes.
right.
And, yeah, he was like talking to them and shit. That part was kind of cool actually, where he's like driving through the desert, fucking pissed off.
Oh, yeah, that
Wanna
scene was
find
cool.
Mom?
It reminded me of like the Terminator. He's like on his motorcycle driving through the desert.
Just pissed off,
Yeah.
motivated.
But yeah, that anger carries over. He finds his mom. She says she's complete, and then she just dies in his arms. It had to happen, I guess, because then he goes on a massacre and cuts off children's heads in this camp.
Yeah, the Tusken Raiders. He slaughters all of them.
He slaughters the
Children,
women and the
women.
children.
This is a fucked up dude.
Yeah, that's really the first sign. I think Padme after that should have said, okay, well...
It's like, all right, you're weird.
Or Obi-Wan, or the whole Jedi Council. Don't you think they knew about that?
It like shows Yoda and it's like he's like meditating or whatever, and you can hear like the Tusken Raiders getting like slaughtered or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he says like he senses suffering and like pain from Anakin. Maybe they just looked at it as like an oopsie. Oopsies.
Oops, he slaughtered a village.
He got mad.
So then after all that, Obi-Wan's arc, which is the part, everything from this point on, I loved about this movie.
Loved?
Liked.
Pretty enjoyable. I don't know if I loved it.
I thought it was super cool. So he goes to this new planet called...
Amino!
Yeah, and then there's like these really cool looking long-headed like aliens.
I don't know if that's offensive in Star Wars.
Alien. So they like welcome him in. I think the reason he went there is because that's where the dart led him, and they talk about
Cypher Diaz. Wasn't that the dude's name, Cypher Diaz?
That's the guy who commissioned this clone army, which Obi-Wan finds out about. And Obi-Wan's like, that's kind of weird, so maybe I should look into this. And he agrees to go check it out.
He actually like sees the army that's possibly a good use. Like he doesn't like see it as like, what the fuck is terrible, delete this. No, he sends it to like the Yoda and shit, Mace Windu, to see like their opinion on it, doesn't he?
I don't know if he's like excited, like we could use this. I think he's pretty skeptical.
Well,
Like, why did someone from the council commission this? Why did we need an army?
Yeah.
So now they know about this clone army on this planet, and they can basically use it now. And he meets Jango Fett, who was the man who volunteered to clone himself. And he also has like his clone Boba Fett, which is like a child clone of him. I don't know why they paid so much attention to that, but
was that his real son or was that a clone?
It's a clone of him, but he raised it himself. Like they say, normally they just have an adult clone already made. It's weird that they paid like attention to that. Like, so maybe Jango Fett will have this like backstory where he like lost his real kid or something. But no, it's just he has a clone of himself.
I just wanted one for myself.
I just wanted a mini-me. So then they have their fight.
That was cool. It was a cool fight.
That was my...
Jango Fett and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that was super cool. Jango Fett reminds me of like Batman because he has this like grappling hook that he uses to grapple onto Obi-Wan.
He's using all these like gadget shits.
He has a jetpack. He has
like
a flamethrower. His missile backpack. Yeah, that was cool.
Boba Fett, Jango Fett's kid, was helping too. He was in the ship, like shooting him.
Yeah, that was cool too. Boba Fett was actually helping, not just standing there.
But then they ended up getting away.
Jango Fett escapes, and Obi-Wan at the last second throws a tracker on their ship. He follows them to find their master, and they go through this like asteroid belt.
Yeah, it's around Geonosis.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Saturn.
So they're going through there, and that's a really cool kind of chase
That was
scene.
cool. I actually really liked that part.
He follows them onto the planet. It's Geonosis, and it's basically a large droid factory.
And that's where he sees Dooku with the Trade Federation. Those two.
The Viceroy and the other guy. It's the leaders of the Trade Federation.
Yeah, those two. So like, he sees them together, and he gets captured.
Yeah, Obi-Wan gets captured, and Dooku's kind of explaining this, like, hey, I'm actually, like, the good guy here. You guys don't see that there's this Sith Lord who's infiltrated you. Obi-Wan escapes and is able to send out, like, a distress beacon thing to everyone, pretty much, including Anakin.
No, he did that and then got captured. He saw them, and he's like, oh, fuck. And he sent out the beacon. He's like, where the fuck's Anakin? And he gets jumped by those bugs, and then he has the Dooku talk.
That's right. There's these bugs on the planet who is, like, another race that's helping out.
It seems like they're important.
They're harboring the Separatists on their planet. I don't think they want anything to do with it.
I don't know. It just felt like when I watched it last.
Nah, I think they're just kind of caught in the crossfire here.
But they had like the Death Star, remember?
They had the plans, but I think honestly those were probably Dooku's plans. Anakin, so after
he gets the Obi-Wan message.
Yep, and so now he and also all the other Jedi have to go to Geonosis to help Obi-Wan. There's this conveyor belt section that Calan hates.
I don't like it. It looks like a mess. I can barely tell what the hell's happening.
I like
If you remove C-3PO and R2-D2 from that scene, it's garbage.
Yeah, I want to also say that. So, like, R2-D2 and CP3O, like, come into the factory, too, and they have, like, their own little arc, and that's, like, a really enjoyable little comical side plot thing.
Those two are always great together.
Yeah, because it's a great dynamic. One doesn't talk, the other one's all nervous.
Yeah, but he understands them. Yeah, and, like, one's, like, really outgoing and adventurous. The other one's like, yeah, I don't think we should do this.
R2 always knows.
Kind of gets pushed into it.
R2 always knows what's going on, but he can't talk.
He's a smart fucking robot, man. He kind of saves the day a lot.
Yeah, I really like those characters. At the end, they do get captured, and they're hung up in this arena alongside Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan! Yep. And this is where the fun begins.
Mace Windu shows up right behind Dooku. Coolest scene. Honestly, might be my favorite scene from all three prequels. There's droids fighting. All the Jedi come in. This is like the only time, as far as I know, that all the Jedi come in to fight together. And then there's the three like beasts running around, and then there's the clones come in.
They kind of like wrap it up.
Yeah, because they're like outnumbered. But then Yoda comes in with the clone army. That's what happens.
And also Jango Fett fights Mace Windu.
Jango Fett, yeah, and then he gets his head chopped off. It's not exciting. It's not cool. It's just like, oh.
Mace Windu just kind of like runs at him, chops his head off, and then they get the fuck up out of there.
There's a lot of gunfire. There's there's all these different races. The bug people are also kind of helping, although I think mostly they're just running away. They're all what? Are they escaping?
Yeah, Dooku is hitting the dash, and they're like chasing him down. They don't want to get away.
They catch up to Count Dooku, and then the final fight, Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan. Anakin just charges and gets his hand cut off.
Yep. No, that's the ending of it.
Okay, never mind.
He charges and he gets zappy. And he's going right into the fucking rocks. He just throws his ass in rocks, and Obi-Wan's like, God fucking damn it, this bitch. And he kind of gets his shit wrecked, and Anakin like jumps back in and fights, and he ends up getting a second lightsaber. Obi-Wan's like, take my shit, and like boom boom, they're fighting, and it looks like shit in my opinion.
You said it looks like shit. I love this fight a lot because it's just cool. Like, I guess, yeah, some of the shots were really bad. Like, it's just really close shots of their faces because I'm sure they can't.
Anakin and Dooku are fighting. It looked bad. It was just zoomed in on their face, and it's just them twirling a nightstick, and it's just like they just like reuse and like flip it, and it looks shitty.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, the concept of it, like, this is the first time we see lightning, force lightning.
Yeah, I guess the concept of it's cool.
And then the dual-wielding lightsabers.
Yeah, he like dual. He's a dumbass, doesn't listen. And he's like, yeah, he gets dual-wielding lightsaber. You see fucking lightning shoot out of the dude's hand. And then, like, him and Obi-Wan are dead meat, and then Yoda walks in like, loser you are.
And he, like, wraps shit up. They're finally showing off, like, Yoda's like force power.
Strength. Like he shoots lightning at him, he just like absorbs it.
I guess Yoda's fight style is like flipping around all over the place, just all CGI.
He's flipping all over the place.
I
And they had to
liked
like
it.
CGI Dooku too, because I don't mind it. I'll tell you though, a lot of people don't like it at all.
And I mentioned this in our review of the third movie. Like, I wish Yoda wouldn't use a lightsaber. I wish he just used force powers.
Built different.
He's old and wise and small. Why would he use
He's
a
powerful. He
lightsaber?
doesn't need a sword.
Yeah.
Just throw his ass like a rag doll. Dooku's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. This green guy's insane. He like tries to drop that thing on Anakin, and Obi-Wan Yoda. It's like, okay, I gotta save them. So he like stops it from falling on them, and then he gets in the ship and leaves. So then two things happen to wrap it all up. I guess three. Dooku goes to Coruscant and meets with the Emperor. And then the other two things that happen is like the Republic is fully taken in the clone army. So you see them, the ships and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's exactly what they didn't want to do. They didn't want to
Yeah,
use the army, but they're forced to because the droid army is
because the
so
war.
much bigger.
Yeah.
Anakin and Padme get married on Tatooine secretly, yeah.
Naboo.
And now just in general, we've already kind of talked about the shitty dialogue that still returns, and it's honestly worse than it's ever been in this movie.
Literally the first 2 hours is pretty much just dialogue filled.
Hayden Christensen's acting is really bad in this movie for me.
He isn't very good in this film at all. Like, I always say the dialogue doesn't help and directing, but even without that, I feel like he would have been bad in this movie regardless. He's like portrayed to play like a whiny bitch, like teenage bitch in this film.
Yeah, it's a weird angle. Similar to the first movie, this has like really beautiful background shots or like long shots, I guess.
The far away shots that looked good in the first movie look like garbage in this movie, and when it did look good, it's because they actually used real structures.
The CGI actually like improves drastically towards the end. The clones look really good. I thought they were all real people, but they're all 100% CGI.
Yeah, that like you said, that'll last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 95% of their budget probably.
It's just bizarre that it really seems like either they had that last like 40 minutes in mind or they filmed it first or something and then realized they ran out of budget.
It's like, holy shit, we still need 2 hours of movie.
And quickly write some romance dialogue and fill that in
Romance.
the first part
Who
of the
should we
movie.
hire to write it? It's like, let's be cheap. I can do it. It's like, George, no, you cannot.
Hire? That costs money, guys.
I spent it all on CGI.
Speaking of CGI characters,
Jar Jar.
yeah, Jar Jar's back, but thankfully he's for like the first 15 minutes maybe.
A little bit in the start, and that's kind of it.
And he
It's
becomes the new decoy. Well, not like a decoy. He takes
He
Amidala's
takes like the lead
place.
for Padme.
He's the
Well,
new senator.
He has one job and he fucks up.
He holds, I guess, the only position that can give Palpatine like his power, and he grants it to him. I don't know why.
This dude set the Republic on its downfall.
He literally like caused everything pretty much. So yeah, overall, I've always heard this is like the worst prequel movie
From me.
from Calan. Yeah, I've never seen it ever. I don't remember any of these scenes except for like the gladiator scene from the Lego Star Wars game. I really liked the last like 45 minutes, I think. Again, like ever starting from the moment Obi-Wan like goes off on his own, I thought the story improved a lot. Just like the scenery was really cool. They had a lot of cool fight scenes. And I was like invested in Count Dooku. I thought he had like a worthy cause. So I really enjoyed like the last quarter of the movie. But I really have to keep in mind the other hour and a half that was just pure garbage. It balances out to like a 5 out of 10 for me, which is average on my scale.
I think it's ugly. I think the dialogue sucks. The parts you really liked, I didn't like it as much. I thought the Coliseum part was great. I wasn't a big fan of the lightsaber fight at the end. Obi-Wan's adventure was pretty cool, but I didn't love it. It's just boring for me. The first 2 hours are just boring, and you get the cool gladiator Jedi throwdown. If it didn't have Star Wars on it, it'd just be a shitty sci-fi movie. So I give this movie a D. Big fat D.
Wait, who is this kid? Is that really from the movie?
Yeah.
That's what
Annie.
he looked like?
Annie! Yeah.
He looked way different in the third one. He looked way better. Attack of the Clones is single-handedly saved by a stunningly spectacular final act that is both thrilling and fun. The rest of the film slogs with horrible pacing, wooden acting, and a totally confused script that never reaches the heights it wants to achieve.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Spectacular final act, thrilling and fun, pacing, yeah, I 100% agree. While it is not the best of the Star Wars saga, and there is a bit of cringeworthy dialogue, it is still action-packed and very entertaining to watch. A good movie indeed. The ending is action-packed.
Not the whole movie.
This film did not deserve any of the hate it received. It is emotional, exciting, and action-packed. I still believe to this day that Christensen is an amazing actor.
That is wild.
Yeah,
Emotional? When? When his mom died and he went on a fucking shit fit? Exciting. The hell did you do for the first 2 hours?
That's the second time someone said action-packed.
It's not fucking packed. It's packed at the end. You guys are clouded by one gladiator-looking scene.
See, you got two complete opposite sides of the coin. It's amazing how isolating it is.
Yeah, he was bad in this film. Especially after you watch the third film. He was bad in this movie.
Yeah, because it's... Again, I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just what he had to work with was so bad.
I'd say he's probably like an average actor, but like what he had to work with didn't help at all.
I would say Keanu Reeves is like an average actor, but he's given like really good stuff to work with, so it makes him feel better.
It is actually really true.
He's always so bad at delivering lines, but he's likable and he's in really good stuff. So that's kind of the difference between the two. The story progression is super slow at the beginning. The romantical part between Anakin and Padmé is annoying, and in my opinion, you can cut out the entire first 45 minutes of the movie. The sound, just like in Episode 1, is well done and one of the positive factors of Attack of the Clones. Again, the scenes containing Anakin's mother are awful. The transitions are once again Windows Movie Maker quality. The character development of Anakin is misery.
Oh, this dude just summed up their whole fucking video.
C-3PO and R2-D2 are super cute and always make me smile. The factory scene is completely bad. Within the last 45 minutes, the movie really gets better. The action sequences are super nice, highly entertaining. Also want to add that Christopher Lee plays good and his performance is the best acting-wise. Wow. So yeah, this is like the most accurate. I should have just copy and pasted this.
So you can just make a video a good fucking 30 seconds and just show this dude's review.